Hello everyone, good evening. So today we'll be seeing the daily current affairs of 24th of March. So today we are having some very important and interesting topics. So what we are going to see today include some of the international affairs topic. Since Ukraine, the current issue of Ukraine and Russia is going on, we'll get questions from that, and then sorry. Yes. So we'll get questions from that, anything related to that particular topic, especially questions related to geography. That is, questions related to this, the map kind of thing can be expected. So let's go into the topic. The first topic is Mariupol. So what is this? It's an official, according to an official from Ukraine, has said that the Russian offensive against Mariupol has turned the city into ashes of dead land. So when you talk about offensive, which means Russian offensive means the Russia has attacked Ukraine. That is what you call it as Russian offensive. One such offensive, one of the first offensive acts that India has done is Meghdut. Okay, when we captured Siachen Glacier. So that is one of the offensive, which means we initiated and we captured that place. So such Russian offensive against Mariupol has turned the city into ashes of dead land. Geographically, why it is very important to UPSC is it's a land bridge between Crimea. So Crimea is very important because Russia in 2014 annexed Crimea. Okay, so it is also part of Ukraine. It was a part of Ukraine and Russia annexed Crimea. This Mariupol is linking Crimea and Donbas. This is the separatist held regions of Ukraine. So this is a land bridge. So this place has been, completely destroyed by Russia. So that is what is the topic. So it's a key fighting ground as Russia looks to overturn its 2014 loss when Russia-backed separatists failed to capture the city in the Donetsk Oblast region. As of now, the Sea of Azov, very important. The Sea of Azov falls between Donetsk, Luhansk region and Crimea. Okay, so the Sea of Azov is very important. It is related to Russia. It is between Donetsk, Luhansk region and Crimea. In 2014, then Ukrainian president declared Mariupol the regional capital of Oblast after Donetsk fell to rebel forces. So what you have to know is what is this place related to? Okay, is it related to recently? They'll be just asking like recently this place has been seen in the news. So this is lying in what are the countries bordering this place? Russia, Ukraine, all these are answers. Okay, Crimea, okay, Donetsk and Luhansk region, all these things. So this is what they will ask you. They'll ask you the Sea of Azov. Okay, so this is related to the Sea of Azov because it acts as a land bridge between Crimea and Donbas. Okay, yes. In 2016, it was called as City of Solidarity. Who termed this? It was termed by United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Very important. The City of Solidarity is Mariupol, welcoming internally displaced people from contested territory. That is why it is called as City of Solidarity. It welcomed the refugees and gave them a shelter. So advantage, it's not just land. Capturing Mariupol also gives Russia a maritime advantage and also economic advantage. Obviously, when you have a maritime advantage, you will have an economic advantage because trade becomes easier. Okay, so that is why it is called as when you have a maritime advantage, you will also have an economic advantage. So this is strategic important. You can see in the map, this is Sea of Azov. Okay, you have Russia here and Mariupol is here. You can see it is acting as a bridge. Okay, so it's a land bridge between this Luhansk, Donbas region, Donetsk region, and here it's Crimea. So this was annexed by Russia in 2014. Okay, so here you have Ukraine. These are the places which has been occupied by Russia right now. So you have Russia this side, Russia is on the other side too, Ukraine is here. So what happens? Crimea has been already captured by Russia. Now this region is acting as a bridge, and this is also captured. So when this is captured, it means that the Sea of Azov comes under the control of Russia. Okay, this land and this land is what is bordering the Sea of Azov. When this is also captured, so the entire Sea of Azov will come under the control of Russia. Okay. Next is Novorossiya. In 2014, Russian President Vladimir Putin invoked Novorossiya, which means New Russia. Okay, so this is what he spoke to reporters. Novorossiya means New Russia. It's a historical term for territories considered to be the part of Russia under Tsarist rule. You understand? Which of the following best defines Novorossiya means? It is the territories, historical term for territories considered to be the part of Russia under the Tsarist rule. That is what is called as Novorossiya. What is the Tsarist rule? It includes large parts of southern and eastern Ukraine, such as Odisha, Kharkiv, Kherson, Donetsk, and Luhansk. Okay, effectively controlling Mariupol will put Putin closer to the imagined Novorossiya. So now do you understand why this Mariupol is very important? Controlling the Mariupol means you can control certain areas like southern and eastern Ukraine, Odisha, Kharkiv, Kherson, Donetsk, and Luhansk. The region's history as part of Russia created an obligation on Moscow to protect its present-day inhabitant. Next is Lopez attack, very important, because every time you have a privacy or internet security breach, this will be a question. Because why this will be a question is, we are moving towards digitalization of almost everything, starting from education to banking to governance. Everything is becoming e. So in that case, when there are these kind of hacking happens, it's a question of security. So already there is a resistance to change among people, and when these kind of attacks occur, this will definitely increase the question of security among the minds of people. Such kind of attack is this lapses attack. So Microsoft has confirmed that its systems were breached by the hacker group called as lapses. So this can be a question. Which of the following best defines lapses? Or recently the term lapses has been seen in the news. Which of the following best suits this name? Other prominent companies called as Nvidia, Samsung, Ubisoft, Okta, etc. have been targeted by the same group. See, these are all the most important, electronic companies. You can just see Nvidia. You can see this term in many of your laptops. Samsung. Many people are owning Samsung-based products. It can be either mobile, and the tablet of Samsung has become very famous now. Okay, especially now after the 7 series, S7 series has been released due to the large screen size. Samsung is becoming very famous. Ubisoft, Okta, all these things are now becoming, a question of security here. The Okta hack is particularly worrisome. Why? Because this San Francisco company provides online authentication services. See, this Okta itself is a security related company. Just imagine the company itself is getting breached because this company is providing online authentication services to important corporations like FedEx Corp, Coinbase Global, T-Mobile, Cloudflare, etc. Now, if this question is under this particular company is under attack, which means that it's really problematic. It's a South America based group. This Lapsus is a South America based group. It is known for publicly posting details about their hacks and sharing screenshot of stolen data on platforms such as Telegram and Twitter. This is a psychological concept. Okay. So in general, if you are watching movies, you would have seen, two terms. First is when a person who has committed crime is showcasing his or her particular crime. First is either either the person likes to create fear so that using that fear the person can do what the person wants, or the person might like to showcase that he has some victory. It's a question of ego here. So these are the possibilities here. Thus it is, they are publicly posting details about their hacks and sharing screenshot of stolen data on platforms such as Telegram and Twitter. So this is, we can see it on other direction also. This they are using as an advertisement so that many people approach them for further activities. Find, like, hacking of a bigger company, or whatever can be the reason. This is very dangerous because these details can create further more issues. Targets. The group started by targeting organizations in the United Kingdom and South America, but has expanded globally right now. So what you have to remember, this Lapsus is a South America based company who are basically hackers. They have hacked many companies like Microsoft, Nvidia, Samsung, Ubisoft and Okta, and especially this Okta, which has been hacked, is creating tensions because they are a San Francisco based company who themselves are providing online authentication services. When the companies who provide the online authentication services by themselves are under threat, how can we go into the problem of digitization? So in mains examination, if there is a question related to critically analyze digitalization of something, you can talk about this concept. One more, there is a recent thing going on which is digital central bank currency. Okay, so when you talk about this digital central bank currency, there can be a question in mains examination about critically analyze. In that place you can use this point also. Recently there has been a hack of Okta company itself, which is an online authentication service. So that this proves as there is a need for tightening of internet security. Okay, that point can be given. So they targets across range of sectors. See, it's not just some random company. Their targets are like, it is a range of sector like government sector, technology, telecom, media, retail, healthcare. They've all brought almost everything. That is what I think. See, government, technology, telecom, media, retail, healthcare. See, in retail you get online shopping. You talk about media, it can be social media or print media or any media. Okay. It is also attacking cryptocurrency exchanges to steal cryptocurrency holdings. Even though the digital central bank currency is not a cryptocurrency, it is also an online form of currency which might have a threat of this kind of stealing. So one important concept when they speak about this digital currency, they say that when you talk about this digital currency, you need not have the physical form of currency, which is an advantage because there are three major things that has to be considered. Number one is that printing cost is less, transport cost is less, security is high because the physical currency can be easily stolen. But now, after seeing this concept, it's really creating a question. Methods. Next is, the hackers of Lapsus relied on large-scale social engineering and extortion campaigns against multiple organizations. Okay. The group relies on a pure extortion and destruction model without deploying ransomware payloads. See, this pure extortion and destruction, they're not asking for ransom. Ransomware is, what is that ransomware is? You lock something and you demand, you just take a data or lock some of computers or important data containing, platforms, and demand some money, and then you just release those platforms. But here they are not deploying payloads. Instead, they are extorting the money by themselves and they are destructing the model. Okay. The group is also relying on some tactics that are less frequently used by other threat actors. which means that they are unique. It's really tough to find out the way to control them. These includes like SIM swapping to take over accounts, accessing personal email accounts of employees at target organization. These are all very dangerous because personal email accounts of employees at target organizations might contain confidential and sensitive information of that particular organization. Social engineering attacks. In social engineering attacks, cyber criminals try to lure individuals into revealing critical personal information via phishing attacks. I told you now they are releasing it in Telegram and other social medias. So what they do, this social engineering attack is they try to break down the social engineering. They just go and attack the individuals. They lure the individuals. Lure is they just manipulate them. They just try to invade their mind to get the attacks. All this information might be used either as guest passwords or even answers to security questions for an account. See, randomly someone comes and asks me, do you like pets? I say yes. So what happens? I might reveal the name. So what people might do, mostly the questions, the password recovery questions will be like, what is your pet name? What is your favorite food? These kind of questions will be there in the the question. So what happens, you just collect the information. These people just collect the information from you through some mode. Okay. So then they use that particular information and they try to get the passwords. Fine, guess questions for those guess questions. Safety measures. For now, Microsoft has recommended the business rely on multi-factor authentication to protect themselves from such attacks. This multi-factor authentication is various levels of authentication and various factors of authentication, so that it's not easy to hack. It also recommends against weak MFA factors such as text messages. Since the SIM swapping itself they are doing, that is, they just steal your number. Okay, they just say swap the SIM and they take, because mostly the authentication for financial transaction is one-time password. Many of the transaction is one-time password now. If they are doing SIM swapping, it's really easy to hack your personal details. That is what they are saying. It has also cautioned against simple voice approvals, push notifications, or even secondary email based MFA methods. Okay, you can see what is the secondary email related to. It's about one of the MFA methods. Okay, it also recommends increasing awareness among employees and IT help desk around social engineering attacks. Okay, next, Sardak. Sardak is students and teachers holistic advancement through quality education. See, if you are good in Hindi, at least the basic in Hindi, most of the schemes are named after some kind of Sanskrit terms or some kind of Hindi terms or some kind of some language terms. So what happens, basing that itself you can come to a conclusion about these schemes. So students, teachers and holistic advancement through quality education is an indicative and suggestive national education policy implementation plan for school education. So it's an implementation plan developed in the pursuance of goals and objectives of NEP 2020, which is issued in 2020, and to assist states and UTs in this task. What is this Sardak? So it's developed by Department of School Education under the Ministry of Education. It's developed an evolving and working document through wide and intensive consultative process with states and UTs, autonomous bodies, suggestions received from all stakeholders. The major focus is they define the activities such a manner that they link the recommendation with 297 tasks. What they do, instead of directly trying to implement the task, they link the direction with some kind of task. And when the task is completed, we will eventually fulfill some of the recommendation. That is what is this. Along with responsible agencies, they give timelines and outputs, 304 output of this task. This is how you have to plan generally. So even in terms of preparing examination, I would tell you, Instead of just sitting and studying your book, you have to keep your task. You have to make a checklist, and then you should have some responsible agency. It can be your friends, your family to check it, or you can do it by yourself. You can be your own responsible agents. Definitely timeline has to be set. Within this 2 days you have to finish. You have to check whether you're finishing or not. If you're finishing early, try to increase the content. If you're finishing very late, try to reduce the content and increase the timeline. So you'll have the satisfaction of completing it. That is how this is also happening. The plan keeps in mind the concurrent nature of education and adheres to spirit of federalism. See, education is in concurrent list. So this plan should keep that in mind. They should keep in mind the concurrent nature of education. At the same time, they should also respect this federalism, spirit of federalism. Okay, next. So UTs and states are giving the flexibility to adapt with the local contextualization, which means based on their needs, based on their state's need of anything, culture, finance, anything it can be, based on their needs and requirements, they are allowed to modify these tasks, timeline, all these things. Okay, so this plan is given as a roadmap for the way forward of implementation for the next 10 years. Okay, Sardak. Next is reasonable accommodation. This is a very interesting topic. The Karnataka High Court has rejected an argument in the support of permitting Muslim girls wearing headscarves that was based on the principle of reasonable accommodation. What is this reasonable accommodation? It's a principle that promotes equality and grant of positive rights. Okay, so grant of positive, what does positive rights means? There are certain rights which allows you to do something, that is positive rights. There are certain rights which prohibits of doing something, that is negative rights. Discrimination, prohibition on discrimination is a negative right. Okay, equality before law is a positive right. There equality is provided. Here the prohibition is prevented. See, prevents discrimination is a negative right. Based on disability, health condition or personal belief. So, reasonable accommodation is a principle that promotes equality, enables the grant of positive rights and prevents discrimination based on disability, health condition or personal belief. Its use is primarily in the disability rights sector, and it is, the reasonable accommodation should be because of undue hardship. Okay, so that has to be happening, not just for something random. So some undue hardship is there, so that particular person is given a positive right. Legality in India. In India, the Rights of People with Disabilities Act defines reasonable accommodation, very important. The definition discrimination in the section includes denial of reasonable accommodation. Okay, it is necessary and appropriate modification and adjustment without imposing a disproportionate or undue burden in a particular case to ensure to persons with disabilities the enjoyment or exercise of rights equally with others. The appropriate government shall take necessary steps to ensure reasonable accommodations of persons with disabilities. In Jija Ghosh and another versus Union of India 2016, the Supreme Court talks about embracing the notion of positive rights, affirmative action and reasonable accommodation. So very important. The Supreme Court has spoken about this notion of positive rights, affirmative action and reasonable accommodation. The case is important, Jija Ghosh and another versus Union of India in 2016. Okay. The Supreme Court elaborated the concept in Vikash Kumar versus UPSC in 2021. In this, the court has allowed the use of scribe in the UPSC exam for candidate with dysgraphia or writer's cramp. Okay, so for this also, the court has allowed the use of scribe. So that is where the court has spoken about this, reasonable accommodation. Fine. Thank you so much. So we'll continue with the classes in the upcoming days. So if there is any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. I will help you with those doubts. And thank you so much. We'll meet in tomorrow's class. Thank you.